Yo guys, what's going on, man? It's your boy George back with another video of mine. So today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Antonio Conte's men from 2016 to 2017, why they were so successful. Going to be replicating all their tactics in this video today. But before I begin, I got a lot of videos coming. I've been absent for a while, but there's going to be a lot of new videos coming up for the new season. My first video coming up after this one will be Monaco. They play tomorrow, so I'm going to be reviewing their game, and I'm also going to be reviewing most of the Premier League games and also the Community Shield coming up as well, Leicester versus Man City. But anyway, man, if you do like this video, guys, feel free to like and subscribe. I am trying to grow this channel and trying to reach 100 subscribers before the end of this month, man. So only thing I can do for you guys is stay consistent. But anyway, guys, the 3-4-3 formation, also known as the 5-4-1, we're back at it again. I have made a video about Tuchel's 5-4-1 formation, but there's a bit of a twist when it comes to Antonio Conte's formation and Thomas Tuchel's formation. Now, obviously, the difference between Antonio Conte's men and Tuchel's men, there's a couple similarities as well. In terms of, you know, the wing backs, they play a huge role in both systems. But, you know, going forward, Antonio Conte's men, you see these three get really close to the striker, so the striker's not isolated. But with Tuchel's men, you might even see Havertz and Werner form a two up front, and then you might see like a Ziyech going cam or Mason Mount going cam. So we're turning to a 3-5-2, and even off the ball, guys, there's a complete difference with both managers. Off the ball with Antonio Conte, which I'm going to be showing you today, it will turn into a 5-4-1 off the ball. Sometimes, depending on what opposition Chelsea play against, off the ball, their formations fluctuate between a 5-4-1 and a 5-3-2 formation. So you will see Werner or Ziyech will put Pulisic up front, and then you'll see Mount, that's originally in its left hand side, but you will come in midfield to support a Jorginho and Kante. So same formations on paper, guys, but different systems and different philosophies, different managers, different minds in it. So today we're going to be going within the mind of Antonio Conte. So let's begin. So my guy Thibaut Courtois, at the time for Chelsea, very consistent, very successful, comes for crosses, no need for a sweeper keeper. The defensive line is already deep anyway, so there's not a lot of space in between the defensive line and the goalkeeper, so there's no need for a sweeper keeper. Comes for crosses, very demanding in the air, had great handling, and his physical presence, I think he was like 6'6" as well. Mad keeper, man. So that's all the instructions I got on Thibaut Courtois. Basic instructions here, default settings. Obviously you had David Luiz in this position here. David Luiz was the best in terms of his ball playing attributes as a defender for Chelsea. He was very important to Chelsea in terms of building up the play with his vertical passes in between the lines. And overall, he just set the tempo and the pace for Chelsea. And most of Chelsea's play in terms of their build-up came from the three centre-backs. Now, the reason is because Matic and Kante, decent on the ball, right? But often Chelsea would come up against a 4-3-3 and they'll get outnumbered in the middle. So the pattern would be to get the ball to David Luiz, send long balls, or get the ball out onto the wing. And that leads me on to talk about Marcos Alonso and Moses. During the attack can overlap, and the same goes for Moses as well. During the attack can overlap. A lot of Chelsea's play came down the wing, and they created a lot of patterns as well, having the likes of Hazard coming in narrow, Willian and Pedro coming in narrow, and then you had Victor Moses, Alonso creating that width on the left and right hand side. Chelsea's shape offensively would change into a 3-2-5 formation. For example, you have Alonso go forward on this left hand side, you have Victor Moses go forward on this right hand side, and there you go, you have the 5 up front, and then you have the 2 midfielders here, and then you have the 3 at the back. Now, normally on seasons you play against a back 4, right? So you have a numerical advantage here, and how I mean by that is if the opposition right back wants to mark Hazard, that creates space for Marcos Alonso to work that line. And normally you can create a third man pattern here. So if Kovacic has the ball, Kovacic passes it to Hazard, Hazard draws a man by coming deep, then that leaves space for Marcos Alonso to run and do his magic, whether that's to cross it in or, you know, go for goal or whatnot. So there's an advantage there for Chelsea when the wing backs do go forward. So let's put everyone back into their positions. So during the attack and overlap for both Marcos Alonso and Victor Moses. Now Matic, his ball control and his ball retention and his dribbling is actually very underrated, and Conte noticed his skill set, so he decided to have him more attacking than Kante that season. That's why he had a lot of assists. So for me, I'd have him stay on the edge of the box, not get in the box, but stay on the edge of the box. You set that there. Cover wing, because obviously when Marcos Alonso does get caught out, Matic can come out and support the wing, the left hand side. So that's all the instructions I got set on Matic. Now with Kante, if Matic is going forward, then Kante must stay back to cover. That's with any system that you play with in a double pivot. If one goes forward, one must stay back, and that's what Kante done that season. He was more of that guy to stay back and cover that defensive line, and also cover Matic when he goes forward, and even cover this right hand side as well when Moses goes forward. So stay back while attacking and cover wing. You can put it on balance if you want to, but for me, to keep that perfect balance in that midfield, stay back while attacking. Now let's move on to the wingers, Pedro and Hazard. So with the two wingers, it's very important for them to stay narrow so they can link up with the likes of Diego Costa, because if you have the two wingers wide, Hazard and Pedro, Costa will get very isolated in that middle. So to play to his strengths, Diego Costa, you need the wingers to be narrow so he can play off these guys and hold up the ball well. So one way to do that, to keep them narrow, is to have it on 3, 4 or 5. If you have them wide, obviously they're going to be on that touchline, you know, just like Moses and Alonso, and that's not how Chelsea played that season in 2017. That's more like Man City in 2018 with Sane and Sterling. Different system here, guys. So Pedro, come back on defense, very good in terms of his work rates, used to win the ball back a lot for his team in terms of his press, and when he did come back, he used to help out his midfield to create a 5-4-1 off the ball. No real set instructions for him, that's why I got balanced for most of his instructions, other than getting the box for a cross. He used to make runs in behind, he also used to come in short and you know, link at the play and combine with Hazard and Costa. That's why I got everything on balance for him. But Hazard now, on the other hand, he was more of your creator, your orchestrator. Used to make things tick for Chelsea in the final third. Used to drop off deep in the midfield, and sometimes when you get overloaded in the midfield, what I've noticed when I play with this team is Hazard will come and support the two DMs when they're in trouble and even things out in this midfield. So that's why I got Hazard on free roam. And even with Hazard, you don't want him getting in behind because he's your most creative player, so you need him on the ball as much as possible. So come short or balance support would be good, but yeah, get in the box for a cross. And other than that, guys, basic defensive support. Hazard sometimes used to drop back, sometimes he did, sometimes he didn't. He wasn't really effective when he did, but to keep that realism, basic defensive support. Can have it on come back on defense, but it's really up to you guys. But Diego Costa, the elephant man, we called him back in the day, very good striker, very versatile striker. Everything's on balance, guys, other than stay forward. He could make runs in behind. If Fabregas was playing, Fabregas would make long balls in behind Diego Costa, and sometimes he would hold at the ball and drop off deep to help out the midfield in terms of, you know, trying to progress the ball in attacking areas. So for me personally, I just have everything unbalanced and stay forward. Now let's move on to the tactic. Now for defensive style, I would use pressure and heavy touch. That's the more attacking and more balanced way of Chelsea playing in real life in 2017. But you can use balanced or drop back. Drop back's more extreme. I only would use this if I'm trying to shut off the game and trying to see off the game. But the ones to avoid would be constant pressure and pressure after lost possession, because Chelsea never was a counter-pressing team. Once they lose the ball, they try to get players back in numbers and to try and get their players in shape in that 4-5-1 rigid compact formation. So for me, it's pressure on heavy touch. The width is on 4, the depth is on 4. The aim for Chelsea was to keep narrow, to force the opponents wide. And normally you have 3 centre backs anyway, so when balls are getting crossed in, the chances of your opponent scoring is not likely to happen. So 4 is the width, the depth is on 4 as well. Because we don't have the quickest defence, have to drop that line, do you know what I mean? So 4 for me. Fast build-up play, Chelsea were very direct. They did play short passes as well, so fast build-up. I don't even need to explain this, guys, I explained it already. Players in the box, 6, 5, and corners and free kicks, personal preference. So that is pretty much it, guys. I only played a couple matches with these guys, but I'm used to playing this system anyway with other teams. So try it out for yourself, guys. I feel like it works, and it's interesting, man. It's different to the one I use with Tuchel. Tuchel's one is way more attacking and way more possession based. With this one, it's more counter attacking and you know, fast build up in terms of short passes. And yeah, try it out for yourself, guys. The teams that you could use, maybe PSG, Italy, maybe anyone with a target man, anybody with good fullbacks or wing backs, you could say, inverted wingers, or a decent DMs, I could say, and good ball playing centre backs. But yeah, man, I'm out. One love, like and subscribe. Take care. Peace.